but the period itself lasts for about 2,500 years. So we have entered an incredibly dynamic, beautiful, wonderful time. And most people are like, it's crazy out there. Why am I here? And others know that they're here on purpose. Some people say souls were lining up, trying to come here now to participate in this huge shift of consciousness. And this woman by the name of Maria Coso, this lion queen, she's no longer on the planet, but she's a Blue Star grandmother, and she worked with Linda Tucker and taught Linda Tucker along with Credo Mutwa, a shaman who's in his 90s in South Africa who's still living. Mandaza's in his 70s, and Credo Mutwa shared a lot of his knowledge with Mandaza up in Zimbabwe too. But Maria Coso predicted back in 1999 that a white lion would be born soon to usher in this new age. And sure enough, very shortly after that, a white lion cub was born in the town of Bethlehem, South Africa, in the year 2000 on Christmas Day.
Wow!
I mean, you know, that's pretty amazing. And yet she was born in a can camp industry. And a can camp industry are those industries where they raise lions, almost like cattle. And so, you know, they're taken away from their babies, are taken away from their mothers at birth, and they're hand-fed. And most of us want to experience that. You know, we want to be connected with lions, and particularly with cubs. So we will, mostly Westerners, will go there and pay money to feed them. But really what they're doing is to socialize these animals who will be raised for trophy hunters to come and hunt down the road. So it's really a horrific industry. But this Mara was a cub born in there, and Linda Tucker vowed to free her, and she did. And so when you go to the Global White Lion Protection, it's a great story. Linda's an incredible woman who's doing incredible work right now, particularly on leadership. You know, John and I have both been through her White Lion Leadership practitioner training and attended the White Lion Leadership Academy. So it's really, you know, this is the time that we are in. And so this book is about that, but it's really also about how do you bring your own unique, whatever it is, to listen to your own inner calling, because each of us has a part to play. You know, to be sacred warriors in a healthy, embodied, heart-centered way. You know, to bring our own unique gifts to the table, whatever they might be. And they don't have to be big and grandiose like writing a book. You know, it can be just really showing up and being true to yourself and letting your light shine, you know, and being in gratitude and all the, you know, the many wonderful ways that we can just show up. So, any questions before I take you on a journey? Yes.
Can you please explain again why they're white? And
They are white, particularly the white lions themselves. They carry light consciousness, and these lions, they were first seen in the 70s, and I think there were in the 40s there were maybe some sightings of them, but first fully recorded in the 70s, and then they completely disappeared because they were hunted to extinction, you know, not to extinction, because some of the tawny lions carried the white gene, but they hadn't been seen like in 10 or 11 years. And when Linda Tucker was there were no white lions to be seen, although there was expected that one lion was carrying, or not one, but there was one that would be carrying the white gene. And the gene itself is not albino. They have blue eyes, and they're related to the Ice Age. You know, they're larger lions, and they're connected with the stars. So Timbavati is the place where it's known as the place for the star lions. That's what it means, where the star lions came down, and this is a very sacred place, and the only place on the planet where white lions are from is Timbavati.
And is there now only just that one that was born, or have they now started to?
She was born, and then she was actually then transported to a zoo, and Linda Tucker worked with freeing her. She ended up having 3 cubs, but they were protected in the sense that until the litigation was complete, and you know, and Linda was actually, it's a fabulous story. You talk about faith, trust and faith. You know, that spirit was guiding you, and you were being protected by something greater than yourself. Mara is her name. She ended up birthing 3 cubs, and those cubs were essentially in a dungeon, you know, for a period of time until she was able to free them, and then she brought them to Timbavati. So she was able to secure land and created the Global White Lion Protection Trust, which is there on the 31st Meridian. And around it were many canned camps, and so she's got, stories that, it's really a very heroic thing, and a very, she was given the mantle by Maria Costa to be the keeper of the White Lions. And so it's a big role and a responsibility that she holds. And this Mara and her 3 cubs landed there. Mara died shortly after that, so she's working as a spirit guide on the other side. She was digging into a workhole den, and it collapsed on her, and she suffocated. But her 3 cubs were still there, and one of the cubs ended up having, Zyra, the female, had 3 cubs with another lion that they brought in, also rescued, and he, magnificent, his name is Mandla, and they had the 3 cubs. And they've been bringing in tawny lions now too, and so we just had another cub born, who's about a year old, in Guabaluma. He's almost a year. Yeah. And he's tawny, but he will carry the white gene. So, and it's just that they, they carry this connection to the stars and to the light. So, and to bring this higher consciousness.
I have a question. Does Zion ring a bell to you, or?
Zion?
Yeah, while you were writing the book, did the word Zion came up?
No, it does. I mean, as you're saying it now, I'm curious, so I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. And the lion, basically, you talk about the lion as an animal, but do you talk about the lion as well as when you meditate, they show up and stuff like that?
It's connecting to the lion energies. So it came to me in a breath work. People have them come to them all the time, either in a breath work or their dream time. In a meditation, lions are showing up more and more as spirit guides for folks. More and more people are feeling a connection to those lions. The lion itself representing, being in a pride. All the qualities that you see. When a lion, if a lion is allowed to be free, and free in the sense that it is allowed to hold the domain of its kingdom, so to speak, it works in relationship with all of the animals because they each play a part. And so this book, it really shares some of those parts, like the hyena or the giraffe, or the elephant. I speak about these animals, and they're giving us messages for these times. And so in the work that we did here on the 31st Meridian, it was to connect with these places and with these animals. And the places meaning like Adam's calendar, which is an ancient 750,000 year or older ancient calendar. And it's only been recently named Adam's calendar by, somebody who, accidentally came upon it, and named it. And he's done some amazing work.
Is that Michael Tellinger?
Michael Tellinger.
I was just going to ask if you knew him. He's a personal friend.
Yeah. Oh, he's a personal friend of yours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michael Tellinger. He's done amazing work, Yes. And that's what they discovered. But this has been where sacred practices have been practiced for a really long time. It is a medicine wheel. You mentioned medicine wheel. It is a medicine wheel with marking the 4 directions. Initiations happened there, connections, the star, they had these radial stones that connected with the stars. It is, it has been determined that they are at least that. And that's the oldest calendar that we know of, actually. It's much older than Stonehenge. And it used to be considered that this is a place where all of these, connections were made with other astrological calendars like Stonehenge. Very advanced cultures and very advanced time. So any other questions? Because I'd like to take you guys on a little bit of a journey to Africa.
One quick question. Isn't there an extraterrestrial lion race that...
Yeah, I can't really speak a lot. The lion race, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
because
yes.
like James Gillian and a lot of other people, I've heard recordings of them coming where he has their sounds. It's super trippy, Contact in the Desert, and I didn't know if you were connected to that.
I don't speak about that in the book,
But you've heard about that,
I've
though.
heard about that, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and connected to that. The book is really, it takes you on an adventure to Africa, and it brings you personally on that experience, and it also helps you understand how doing your own personal work, to continue to evolve your own consciousness supports the whole planet. And it helps us do what we need to do right now to help usher in this new time. in humanity. You know, this is an incredibly powerful time for us to remember. And when I say remember, we are remembering parts of ourselves that we have been disconnected with. Each of us, through our lineage, you know, lineage trauma is so great that we only really, you know, until we begin to start to move this density in our own bodies and begin to really inhabit being a physical being, you know, that we can, we can bring back more and more parts of ourselves.